Hello all and welcome to my video blog on convex hull. I am Surya Tejakoka, PM mentor for ADA, DVT and DWM. As a part of PM mentoring process, we PM mentors at KL University make different kinds of video blogs that makes the understanding of the subjects easy. Okay, without wasting any time, let us get into the topic that we are going to discuss in this video blog, and the topic name is convex hull. As you can see in the first slide, it shows what we are going to discuss in this video. The beautiful bubbles welcomes you to the video blog of concepts regarding convex hull. The first topic that we are going to discuss in this video are: what is a convex set, what is a convex hull for a planar point set, what is Graham scan algorithm in convex hull, and some useful resources that are inspirational. This is the first slide of our presentation, and there is a definition for the convex set. Let me read out the definition for your convenience. A subset of the plane is convex if, along with any two of its points A and B, it contains the entire segment A and B within the figure. It might sound kind of crazy, but let me explain using these diagrams over here. If you take any 2 points within a closed polygon or a figure, the line segment joining those both points should lie within the same figure. Then we call it as a convex set. If you take the example on the left, any example on the left, if you take any 2 points within the example, the line joining those 2 points will always lie within the figure itself. But coming to the figures on the right side, let us consider this figure right here. Let us take point A as this and point B as this. When we try to join these 2 points, the line segment joining these 2 points will come out of the closed figure. So it is not a convex hull. So now that you have understood what is meant by a convex hull and what is not a convex hull, now let us discuss about what is meant by convex hull for a planar point set. As you can see, there are different points right on the right side of this page. So let us consider this set of points as P. So if we are able to minimize the area that is being covered by the points and maximize the circumference that is being covered, then we can call it as a convex hull for the given points. So let P be a set of n points in the plane. The convex hull CH of P, which is planar point set, is smallest convex set containing P, which is these all points should be contained within single figure. You need to draw a figure something like this in order to make it a convex hull. So let us see some algorithms that help us in doing this kind of figures, in constructing this kind of figures. So what is it important? Is it really important to study about convex hull? Of course it is. There are many companies that have been asking questions on this kind of implementation problems that are related to graphs, that are related to set of points. So it is very, very important to understand these kind of concepts in depth. So let us take another example and understand how does it actually work. So if these 4 points are considered as P, set of points, then this is a convex hull for these 4 points. But whereas this is not a convex hull because you're not minimizing the area. You're maximizing the circumference, but yet minimization of area should also be considered. So every point is having segment within the same subset itself, but it is not minimizing the area. That is the reason this became the convex hull for these 4 points, whereas this is not. So I hope everything is clear till now. So now we will move on to the algorithm section of this presentation. So this is the algorithm section, Graham scan algorithm. So we'll be converting these kind of planar set points into this kind of figure. So first of all, in the first step, we will select the bottommost point in the planar set, which is having the least y coordinate in the whole point set. So as this point is having the least y coordinate, we'll select this point as the point number 0, which is initial point in our algorithm. So after selecting it, we will number it accordingly and the step will be shown in the next slide. So as you can see, we sorted them according with the angle that is being made with the point 0. So if you take the angle between 0 and 1 is less, so it is given as 1. So this is pretty much more than this point, so this is given 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So in this order, as the making inclination of the angle, we will sort these points out and we'll give them numbering. So let us go to the next slide. And here comes the third step. We will iterate the sorted order, placing each point onto the stack, but only if it makes a counterclockwise turn relative to the previous 2 points in the stack. You need to remember every point of this algorithm very clearly in order to implement it. So if you take this point 0, it makes an inclination which is counterclockwise inclination with the point 1. So we will append 1 into the stack, and then from point 1 we'll take a straight line and we'll check whether this is making a counterclockwise turn or not. This point, yes, it is making a counterclockwise turn. Then we will append that also into the list. So and we will do it with the same with the point 3 also. It will be making counterclockwise direction. I'll show it in the next slide. So and we will join this also and we will place it into the stack. So 3 will also be coming here in the next slide. So as you can see, 3 also came into the slide. We joined these all points, and now we will check whether this point, after this point, as in the sorted order, we go in the sorted order, we'll check with the point number 4 whether it is making a counterclockwise angle with the given point or not, given 2 points or not. No, it is not making, it is making a clockwise direction. So we will pop out this element and we'll check whether this point is making a counterclockwise direction or not. No, this is also not making counterclockwise direction, it is making a clockwise direction. So we will pop out these two elements, last two elements, and this is making we will check it with this one, right? So this is making counterclockwise direction with this, and with respect to point number 1, point 4 is making counterclockwise direction. So we will append 4 after removing 3 and 2 from the stack. So the stack would become something like this. So as we iterated through these points, we will not be going back to these points again. So we will leave out these points. So and move on to the next one. So we will join 0, 1 and 4, and stack will be something like this. So in the next step, we will check whether this 4 is whether this point 5 is making a clockwise counterclockwise direction or not with respect to point 4. Yes, of course. If you take a straight line like this, and then point 5 is making a counterclockwise direction rotation with respect to point number 4. So we'll put 5 onto the stack and we'll check with the 6th one. So when you take 5, point number 5, this has the straight line and this has the next point, so it is making a counterclockwise turn. We will also keep 6 onto the stack, and now we will go for 6, and from 6 we will check whether it is making a counterclockwise direction with 6 or not. So this becomes the straight line and this becomes the 7 line, so it is making a clockwise direction. I'll show the diagram in the next slide. So as you can see, where this line, this point 7 is making a clockwise direction and not counterclockwise direction. So we'll pop out this element and check whether 5 is making with respect to 5, 7 is making counterclockwise direction or not. Of course 7 is making a counterclockwise direction with respect to 5. So we will join 5 and 7, removing 6 from the stack. So 6 will be removed from the stack, and then 7 will be added to the stack, and 5 and 7 will be joined. So as you can see, 5 and 7 came into the list, and we'll check as of with the same with 7 also. So we'll check with the 7 to 8, so it makes a counterclockwise direction. So we'll join those 2 points and we'll search for the next point. There is no extra point, and we'll check whether 0 is there or not. So for this condition, for this specific 0, if it makes counterclockwise direction, we will close the loop and stack will be completed. So as you can see, these are the points that are needed to be connected in order to make a convex hull for these given planar set of points P. So this is how the Graham's algorithm actually work. And there are a lot of other algorithms that are available in the coding world that helps in solving these kind of convex hull problems, out of which most popular brute force method and naive algorithm is a Jarvis algorithm. You can study about Jarvis algorithm in any of the online blogs. There are plenty of resources available for Jarvis algorithm, and I would strongly recommend reading about that also. So going to the next slide, there is an inspirational work done by T.M. Chan. This is a white paper written by T.M. Chan. I'll give this link in the description box. I thought of giving this video as a Canva presentation, so I have given an interactive link right here, but it does not work in YouTube. So you go through this white paper. He has written a beautiful algorithm for convex hull, which takes only O of n log h time complexity and O of n space complexity. It is really a good article for three-dimensional convex hulls. So I would strongly recommend reading this one. And why? Because I have given this inspirational work. So when T.M. Chan was writing this white paper, his age was just 20, just like us. So it's really inspirational for us to read such kind of people's white papers, so that we get inspired by them and we can also write some kind of inspirational works for the future generations. So coming to the next slide of this presentation, I'm going to conclude this one. So bye. I'm feeling pretty much sad to leave this video out. Feel free to get in touch with us. So if you're having any doubts regarding this convex hull or ADA course or DVT or DWM, we peer mentors are available all the time for some kind of doubts clarification and all. So you can contact us using these contact details. I hope every peer mentor will be giving their contact details in the description box. You can check it over there if it is available. If not, you can use this details of mine to communicate with me. So, and then this is the presentation link. This will also be included into the description box, the presentation link for this presentation particularly. So may we have furthermore sessions and productive video blogs that makes subject understanding easy. So thank you guys, thank you for staying with me this long. So bye bye.